A disappointing weekend for Ferrari in Australia, to say the least. I mean, there were rumours, there were rumblings about them being fourth fastest, and I would honestly thinking, no, they can't be, surely not. No way Mercedes faster, no way they're miles behind everybody else, but they were. They qualified on the fourth row of the grid. They were behind a Williams and a Racing Bull, who were real surprise packages, especially the Racing Bull. I did not expect them to be that far up. And in the race, they really were not that much better, partly because of some bad strategy in there, of course, as well. But honestly, it looks at the moment as though Ferrari are fourth fastest, Tom, when a lot of people are thinking, myself included, these guys are going to be in the hunt for the championship this year. Is this a freak of Australia, or is this just a sign of things to come for the Scuderia?
I think it's more down to the track. I don't think Ferrari know what the problem was. And they went into Australia expecting to be competitive and they weren't. And they definitely were close to McLaren in Bahrain. I know obviously Bahrain's not great for McLaren, so but you take that away, they've lost pace to Mercedes. George Russell was clearly faster than both Ferrari drivers all weekend. There was no jeopardy in there whatsoever. Really, the only person they were able to be ahead of really was Lawson, who just wasn't at the races at all. So it was disappointing. There was a bad strategy call in there, but do you know what? I'm going to give them some slack for that. I'm going to cut them some slack because I think they were going to finish fifth and sixth or something, and then as a result they ended up in seventh and eighth, and then it ended up being eighth and 10th, I think, at the end. So, or it might have been seventh and 10th. I can't remember, to be honest, but I think it's cost them a couple of points, but it could have won them the race. There was if when Bortoleto and Lawson crashed out, if that had happened 10 seconds later, we could have a red flag, and then all of a sudden Hamilton's in the lead of the race on fresh tyres. So it could easily have happened. You never know these things. If you don't do something different, you're just going to end up at the back. And another team we're probably going to come on to later, Haas tried to do something different and then backed out of it. What's the point? You've just ruined your race for the sake of it. At least they tried it, but it was obvious it wasn't. It was obvious it wasn't going to work. So then they just said, "Well, okay, we're still going to get some points. It's not working. Let's just can it now and then and bank the points." So I kind of respect that in a way. Again, with the Haas one, like they weren't going to get points anyway. The only way the Haas would have got points would have been if they'd have put a different car on the top or something, or just or somehow managed to not do a pit stop. That's the only way they would have been able to get any points in that race. So yeah, I don't think they're in trouble. I think they're just not exactly where they thought they were. I think it will bounce around quite a bit. I think China will be better for them. I think Japan will be better for them. And then Bahrain, we kind of know where they're at already. They should be competitive there. So honestly, I think it's bad news for Red Bull because I think they're going to be bouncing around between Red Bull and Mercedes are going to be there as well. I just think that this this weekend was all about Max Verstappen's performance to get that second place. It was phenomenal. He did not deserve to be in that position in that car. I don't think. I think the car was better than the Ferraris, but he didn't deserve to be, and obviously helped by Antonelli. But he didn't deserve to be where he was ahead of Piastri and ahead of Russell on pure pace. So I think with the Ferraris coming back into it, I think we're going to see a lot more Red Bull looking a little bit glum. They need to get on top of that because they are a team who are in more trouble, I think, than Ferrari. But